Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar on palletizing made easy. Today, we will be looking at solutions for palletizing using collaborative robots and OnRobot's deploy system to make palletizing easy and a quick configuration process rather than a very complex solution building. The webinar will be for about an hour and a half with presentations from Doosan Robotics, from OnRobot, and a small presentation from MELSS as well. We would now start with the first presentation from Ms. Sunju Yu, the Regional Manager Global Sales Team from Doosan. And I pass it on to Ms. Sunju to get started. Thank you. Sunju?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Sunju Yu. I'm working at global sales team as a regional manager. I'm so happy to have an opportunity to introduce our robot and our company. From now on, I will introduce our company and Doosan Robot
Sunju?
one by one. Yeah. Can you hear
Sorry, I
me?
think we are seeing the other slide, not the presentation view. So maybe you've got to swap screens.
Oh, okay. Sorry, please 1 minute.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, it is okay. Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Our Tucson Robotics is founded in 2015. Our annual production capacity is over 5,000 units. Now, around 220 people are working, and 40% of them are R&D person. And some people who saw our robot usually mention the high quality of the covered design. So in 2017, we received Red Dot Design Award in Germany and won Korea Robot Company of the Year from 2018 to 2022. Beginning of last year at CES in America, one of the most influential tech events, Doosan Robotics received Innovation Award. With an average annual growth rate of more than 50% over the past 5 years, Doosan Robot has held the top market share in the Korean market since 2018 and is ranked 5th in the global market. Doosan Robot generates 70% of its sales in overseas markets and sells to more than 3,000 customers in more than 50 50 countries. We have the largest model lineup among Cobot brands and can handle up to 25 kg. According to BCG's Robotics Outlook 2030 report, robot market will gradually expand from manufacturing, where industrial robots have traditional dominates, to professional service such as logistics, F&B, healthcare, and entertainment, and personal service such as education, housekeeping, and healthcare. Then, why should we use Cobot? First, industrial robots are large and heavy. Second, they are dangerous because of their high work speed. So we need to install safety fence. On the other hand, collaborative robots are lightweight, can be combined with mobility like AGV or AMR. Second, it is safe. So we don't need install fence, and it is easy to program. Here are the three main features of Doosan Robot: technology, global presence, new application leader. Different from industrial robots, a cobot has many sensors to collaborate with a human being. Therefore, Doosan robots specialize in safe, easy, as meaning that a non-profession can also operate easily by direct teaching and easy programming. Lastly, flexibility, since it's flexible with easy installation without layout changes. And Doosan Robot received the highest safety certificate, PLE, and safety category is level 4, which is at least one level higher than competitors. Six joint torque sensors mounted on the axis as a default. It is a really strong advantage more than other competitors, which is connected to a high conformance of force and compliance control. For example, this can be a big advantage in applications such as bolting, grinding, and polishing. Since the free drive is also very smooth, the user can experience during the teaching. This is our model lineup. In the same series, we are distinguish the models with payload and reach. For example, H2515 has the series name H, and the first two digit 25 means the payload of this robot is 25 kg, and the next two digit 15 means 1.5 reach. And the specialty of each series is for the M series, not like the other Cobot brands. The joint torque sensor is mounted on all 6 axes, so we guarantee safe and precise force control. As an economical model, the A series, you can achieve short ROI and mount a first torque sensor at the 6-axis as an option. Furthermore, the H series, through the gravity compensation algorithm, is so powerful in the market, especially in the palletizing application, since it can handle the maximum 25 payload, which is the first and unique in the Cobot field. The second strength of Doosan Robotics is global presence. Our headquarters and plant are located in South Korea, and we opened our US office last year. We support customer sales and service through more than 100 sales channels around the world. We have already delivered robots to more than 3,000 customers in various industries around the world. As I mentioned earlier, we are seeing a lot of demand for robots in manufacturing. But we are also getting ahead of curve in the professional and personal service in the market. Next, I will introduce our high payload robot H series and palletizing solution. First, I will introduce our H series. H series is a high payload robot that can handle up to 25 kg with a maximum reach of 1.7 meter. It can be used in a variety of applications, including palletizing, heavy-duty handling, and machine tending. Six-joint torque sensors are mounted on all axes, and the robot itself weighs only 75 kg, so it can be installed in mobile robots such as AGV and AMR. We've already sold more than 600 units H series to the global market in the last 3 years. And this period and data we've been selling high payload robots is enough to prove our product's reliability, which I believe is the most significant difference between H series and competitors' new products that are just entering the market. Next, this is the advantage of our Doosan robot in palletizing. You can stack boxes up to about 2 meters high without a lift. In the table below, you can see an example of simulated pallet size for Europe, North America, and Asia, and stack boxes on top of them. If you load 300, 200, 200 boxes on the pallet used in Europe, you can stack them in 9 layers with 16 boxes per layer. You can see a picture of the stack here. This is the first picture. It is the sample picture. And our robot can handle around 7 to 8 boxes per minute, which is a big difference compared to competitors who can handle around 4 boxes per minute. We can reduce cycle time with multi-picking to handle multiple boxes at once. And the blending function, which smooths out motion. Here is a video of blending function. On the right side, the blending enhancement is applied, and the cycle time is further reduced by using palletizing specific motion function, such as palletizing mode and singularity handling. And lightweight and slim body about half the weight of comparable high payload cobots. So it can be installed in compact space with a simple stand. Robot can be installed by 3 individuals without a forklift or crane. Easily and quickly installed without anchor. No impact to production line and factory building. Palletizing mode function automatically handles singularity, and pattern function automatically generates palletizing code without teaching. I was going to show you some reference videos, but there's some problem and it's not playing. But you can find them on our YouTube and LinkedIn if you want. If you have any question, please ask us at the end of MELSS presentation. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sanju, for your detailed presentation. I would now like to call Mr. Niels and Branson from OnRobot Singapore, who will take us through the presentation about OnRobot deploy solution, focusing on the palletizing application. Of course, as Sanju mentioned, if you have any questions, feel free to put it on the chat box and we will address them at the end of the presentations. Thank you. Over to you, Niels.
Thank you very much. And I'll be the one doing the presentation today. I'm just trying to figure out with this sound here. Hang on a moment. Okay, are you seeing my presentation?
Yes.
Or you're seeing
Yes.
my...
We are seeing a presentation. Yes, it's good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar and giving us the opportunity to talk a little bit about deploy and how that works with palletizing. So first of all, you might know OnRobot, you might not know OnRobot, but basically OnRobot is a company that over the years have become the largest manufacturer of collaborative end effectors globally. So the vision of the company is basically to become a global leader within collaborative applications. So not just collaborative tools, but collaborative applications for factory automation. And everything we do is basically plug and produce. And we produce, as I say, collaborative applications and technologies. The company is from Denmark. We are based out of a city called Odense in Denmark. You might have heard of it. It's kind of like a Silicon Valley of robotics in Denmark, and there's a lot of robotics companies based out of there. Personally, I am based out of Singapore, which is the regional APAC office, but we also have offices in China, Korea, and Japan for the APAC region. In terms of sales, we are exclusively selling through what we call partners, and partners can be distributors and or integrators. MELSS is one of our partners in India, but basically we have more than 700 partners around the world selling OnRobot equipment. Here's a very brief overlook of our product portfolio. I'm not going to go into too much details about this because I rather want to focus on palletizing. But we have a lot of different kind of grippers. We have force shock sensors, we have vision systems, some processing tools, manual tool changers. We have our 7-axis lift and pallet stations, which are obviously used for palletizing. And then we have Ploy, which is our latest platform, which we launched a few months ago, and which is what I'm going to focus on mainly today. So you kind of look at the present versus the future. What we used to do was basically just selling hardware. Now, the future, which is actually the present now, is we are trying to sell a solution rather than bits and pieces of hardware. So obviously we don't sell robots, so we work with different other companies to build a solution, but majority of what you can do for palletizing solution, most of it will actually come from OnRobot. We have the Cobot from Doosan. Then you might need other things like conveyor belts and so on, which is nothing to do with us, but this is something MELSS can help with as well. But we are basically selling solutions now, not individual products. So if you go a little bit into the robotics industry, I mean, we all know that initially we only had the industrial robots, which came mainly in the automotive sector, but industrial robots are basically very fast, very dangerous, very strong. So as you know, they need to be fenced off and you cannot work together side by side with humans. So that's where the Cobots came in to the picture about 15 years ago. And Doosan is one of these leading Cobot brands. And the Cobot basically made it a lot easier to do applications with robots, and also safer, and being able to have applications where you work humans and robots hand in hand. And then after that came solutions like what OnRobot have. We call our solutions a one system, zero complexity, where you can basically take any of our products and put on any robot brand and any robot model and integrate it in the same way. But reality is with these things, even with Cobots, of course, they are easier to program than it is to program an industrial robots, but there's still a lot of programming needed when you do applications. So this is why we came out with Ploy, which I'm going to talk about now. So you might see in the market, there's a lot of companies out there using things or terms like easy programming, fast setup, simple, painless program, easy plug and play, etc., etc. But reality is that almost all these softwares and applications that are there, you still need to program it. You still need to know how to set up an application and be an expert in this to be able to use it. So is it really that simple? So if you just want to do a simple pick and place, move it from A to B, of course, it's not particularly complex. But if you go into things like CNC machine turning or palletizing even, things tends to be very complex. It's becoming very time consuming. You can easily spend a week or 2 weeks just programming and optimizing the path planning for one pallet, a week or two easily, especially on industrial robots. So whether you're an end user or whether you are a system integrator, typically you still need to have expert engineers. You need to spend a lot of hours on programming. You need to program the robot, the grippers, maybe the lift, and other parts and pieces that might be part of the application you're working on. Your people have to be trained how to program a specific robot brand. If you're an end user and system integrator that work with multiple robot brands, you need to be able to program multiple types of robots, which again add on to the complexity of it and the time used. Certainly, if you're an integrator, this is very common. That integrators are running out of time. They can't, they're fully engaged, maybe halfway through the year, so they don't have capacity to take on more projects because it's so complex, everything they're doing. So that leads to lag in potential profit because basically they're fully booked. And also, what happens if the persons that we are trained, they are suddenly leaving the company, which is very common as well. Whether you're an integrator, whether you're an end user, then you need to start finding new people and you need to potentially retrain them again. So it takes time and it takes money. So it is not that easy. So what is Deploy? I'll just play a short video first. I hope it works sort of okay. Some of you might have seen in the beginning, but let me just play it to start with.
The field of automation has grown exponentially over the last decades. Today, automation helps businesses to deal with labor shortages, optimize productivity and quality, increase profitability, and much more.
Although many companies have embraced automation, key barriers to implementing it remain, especially for SMEs. This is all about to change.
For the first time in the history of industrial automation, you are able to actually automate the development of your robotic application. Let me introduce you to Deploy. With Deploy, you can build, you can run, you can monitor, and you can redeploy your robotic application. And you can do it at a fraction of the time that you actually required so far. With Deploy, you are saving at least 90% of the time compared to using the current technologies.
In the 1980s, operating a computer required quite a skill set. However, thanks to innovation and smart user interfaces, the use of a computer has been democratized for everybody to use. Imagine if the same revolution and evolution were to happen to automation. That's exactly what Deploy will mean to the automation industry.
With Deploy being online, on-site, you can develop your robotic application exactly where you need it without any programming. Deploy will step in and take over most of the manual tasks related to your application development. And to you, this means that the entire application can be built 10 times faster than today.
Deploy has been OnRobot's goal from the beginning, and we've been laying the groundwork for this for years, through our one system, zero complexity philosophy.
With Deploy, manufacturers, system integrators, distributors, and robot manufacturers alike stand to benefit from the drastically reduced time and complexity of application deployment.
Every industry has its revolutions now and then.
This is one of them.
Change.
Innovate.
Evolve.
Okay, I hope that was running okay. So what is Deploy? Deploy is basically a cloud-based platform for you to build and deploy and monitor various kinds of collaborative applications. And one of these applications is palletizing. So basically what you have a piece of hardware which is connected to the robot, the end effector, the conveyor, the CNC machine, whatever equipment you're working with. And as long as you have a internet connection and you have that's basically what you need. So you can do a full application using a mobile phone, a laptop, a PC, whatever you have access to. You just need a browser and you need an internet connection, and you can basically build a full application very, very fast. So there's three pieces of hardware. We have the OR base, which is kind of the brain of Deploy. So everything is connected to the OR base, and basically that runs the application itself. We have the OR machine, which provides connectivity to various kinds of machines that supports analog signals, and they also provide additional IOs if you need that. And we have the ORCOM. So just to understand how Deploy works, because it is cloud-based, that means to set up the application or to redeploy, so change the application, or to monitor the application, you do need internet access. So there might be in your factory, maybe there's no internet connection, so you can use the ORCOM and connect via 4G instead to set up the application. You do not need internet to run Deploy unless you want to do monitoring, because the monitoring is in real time, so you would need internet. But otherwise, you do not need internet to run the application. It is just for setting up the application, and if you change anything within the specific application you're running. So it is fairly easy. Basically, there's 5 steps to set up Deploy. The first is self setup. So again, as I said, if you have your mobile phone or tablet, you connect to the OR base, and you connect to a browser, and you get into the application for Deploy. And Deploy will automatically detect what robot brand and robot model you're using. It will automatically detect what OnRobot tools you're using. And then depending on whether you're doing, for instance, if you talk about palletizing, there might be an in-feed and an out-feed sensor that you need to connect and set up in the cell setup. And then ultimately you have the workspace as well, which is where you can put in if there's any obstacles within your working space. So there could be a pillar somewhere that you don't want the robot to hit when it moves. So you can very easily set in or indicate what these obstacles are and how big they are and where they are compared to the robot. That is the first part. Then you have the application setup, which is very simple. For palletizing, for instance, there is basically 4 or 5 steps you need to go through. So you have to set up a pickup point for where you're picking up the box from the conveyor belt. You have to put box size and box shape. You have to choose which pallet size you are having. And we have all the standard pallet size globally. You can just pick, or if you want to, if you have a custom pallet, you can set it up as well. And then you basically let you decide how the pallet should be built. You know, what kind of how you want the boxes to be put on the pallet. Maybe you have a label and so on. So there's a few things you can just pick there. You can do it automatically, or you can do it manually if you prefer that. You click a button. Within 5 to 10 seconds, Deploy builds the application, or it basically does what you normally spend 1 or 2 weeks on programming. As simple as that. Then we have the monitoring tool. It's an OEE-based monitoring tool. It's you can use it if you want to, or you cannot use it. It's all up to you. But as I said, if you want to use the monitoring tool, you have to be online. And then finally, and this is really where Deploy makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of applications out there. Palletizing is definitely one of them, where there's a lot of redeployment because companies are changing box sizes because they're working with a certain product one day and another product another day, and therefore the box sizes changes, and therefore you have to redeploy how your pallet looks like and how it's set up and the path and planning and so on. That as well you can do maybe in 30 minutes or even faster. So rather than spending hours on doing this, you can do it in or days doing this, you can do it in an hour or even less. So here's a quick example of how you can compare a traditional setup for palletizing application with conventional programming versus doing it with Deploy. And of course, here we are mentioning 40 hours for a conventional setup. You can always discuss, is it 40 hours, is it 30 hours, is it 50 hours? This is kind of just an average time that we are aware of from our partners that are doing palletizing. So basically, instead of spending 40 hours with conventional programming and the traditional setup and optimization and collision avoidance and so on, you can do it in 4 hours with Deploy. So basically, you're saving 90% time or equivalent to 36 engineering hours. And even though engineering hours might not be as expensive in India as it is in Singapore or Denmark, for instance, that is still a lot of time saved and a lot of money saved. And this is just the first deployment. Every time you redeploy, you're basically saving a lot of time again. And we all know, especially with redeployment, engineering hours is one thing, but downtime is the most expensive thing you have in a production. So the less time you are not running, the more time you're saving. Next, I'm just going to show just a short video of one of our palletizing applications. This one is running in New Zealand. So it's a Doosan Cobot with an OnRobot 2FTP20 gripper. I just have to say this is not Deploy because it's before Deploy was launched, but nonetheless you can still see a typical example of palletizing with Doosan and OnRobot. So Deploy, you have to look at it a little bit like, I always try to explain it like Windows. When the first Windows software came out, it had very limited functionality, and over the years, every few months, there's an upgrade coming. It can do more and more and more. Deploy will be a little bit similar. So Deploy 1.0, which is the current version we launched a few months ago, caters to 4 different applications. So one is palletizing, one is packaging, one is transferring, which is basically pick and place, and one is CNC machine tending. And when it comes to integration with Doosan, you can see here on the right side the different Doosan models that works with Deploy, which is, I think, almost all of them, or if not all of them. So it's very easy to integrate with Doosan as well. Over time, as I said, Deploy will develop. So we have 1.1 coming, 2.0 coming. So there's more application that will be integrated with Deploy. Some of them are IMM, press brake, depalletizing, sanding, screw driving, and so on and so forth. At the same time, existing applications will also continuously be upgraded. Now, one thing that I think that's important to mention is that once you get Deploy, the platform Deploy, you actually have access to everything that Deploy offers. So when the Cobot came out, one of the great selling points was that, that it's very easy to move from one application to another application. It doesn't take much time. It's very flexible and so on. And of course, that's partly true compared to industrial robots, particularly. But reality is that hardly any clients are doing this, even with Cobots, because it is still complex. So as an example, if you want to use from palletizing today to machine tending next week, it will still take a lot of setup, 1 week, 2 weeks maybe, of setting up and optimizing everything. So it's really not that flexible in that sense. But with Deploy, you can basically do it within a day. So you can move from palletizing to CNC from one day, CNC to packaging the next day, and you can do it very fast and optimize everything and minimize your downtime. So talking about Cobots being flexible and can move from application to application, this is really true now with Deploy. So for manufacturers, I already mentioned some of the benefits. So there's still a lot of companies out there that have done no robotic automation whatsoever. There can be different reasons for this. Some are the all-over cost is too high, but also the cost is too high because it becomes too complex. Deployment time is too long. You're spending or paying for weeks and weeks of engineering hours and so on and so forth, and installation hours and programming hours and what have you. Sometimes it's not very flexible. So as I just mentioned on the previous slide, if you are having a high mix, low volume application, every time you need to change a workpiece, for instance, in a CNC machine turning application or a different box size, it might take you several days just to change a single workpiece, whereas we can do it now in maybe half an hour, an hour. Of course, there's also more risk to it, because if you have somebody building a very complex and very expensive solution, once it goes into production, that's the only time you actually know how it's going to work or if it's going to work. So there's some risk involved with this as well. Maybe as an end user, you don't have any competency in-house, and you are scared, you know, if you're going to have robots, who is going to control the robots, who's going to handle it. And sometimes there's also very, very long and uncertain project lead times, which is also risky for manufacturer. So all these are some of the things that are some of the barriers that are holding manufacturers back from going into robotic automation. So with Deploy, you can basically take control of your own automation journey. You might have an SI to implement the first solution, but certainly redeployment, you can easily learn how to do. The Deploy platform is very, very easy to learn. So you basically take control of that. You are able to monitor certain data, like how many picks and plays are there, cycle time. You can give warnings if the application stops running, and so on and so forth. So if you want to run a monitoring tool, that's automatically included. You can obviously automate much, much faster, up to 90% faster. And the same goes for redeployment. You are less dependent on staff that you train, because even if they leave, it's very easy to retrain staff how to use Deploy, and that goes for both an SI and an end user. And therefore, you can also reduce your training hours a lot. So not only is it less cost, less risk, but you also have time to do more projects. So here's an overview for the 4 different applications we're doing at the moment: palletizing, CNC, packaging, and transferring. Of course, more complex applications will have a bigger time saving than, for instance, transferring or pick and place, because it's much more simple, but you still have a lot of time saving both on the, the deployment and the redeployment as well. So this is kind of how the application will look like on your phone or your tablet. So very, very easy, a few simple steps that you have to go through to set up and to be able to run the application. Excuse me. So what Deploy does, basically, as I said earlier, it breaks down those automation barriers that a lot of end users still have, and because they're worried about what happens if what they're buying doesn't work properly, or who is going to handle it, or is it flexible enough. It dramatically saves deployment time, and I think more importantly, redeployment time, because that's really where you can save time and money. So that comes all at a lower cost and a more attractive ROI, which of course is always important. It has the normal benefits like any automation process does, you know, solve labor shortages and so on, improve productivity so you can become more competitive. It will relieve operators and workers. And if you actually look at palletizing as an application where you have manual staff packing pallets every day, some of them are lifting 1 to 2 tons of boxes in a single day. It is extremely harmful for the body, and it's really bad. It is something that should not be done by manual labor. It is just not right. And of course, you can fully take control of your automation journey, and you can make your own modifications. You don't really need an SI unless you want to make simple redeployments. And of course, you minimize your downtime as well. So the way it is now is that if you want to set up a palletizing application, for instance, you first have to learn how to work and program a robot. Then you have to learn how to program a gripper. Then you have to learn how to integrate it with different parts and pieces, and how to optimize the cycle time, etc., etc., etc. It is very tedious. It is not easy with these kind of applications. So why wouldn't you just look at a full application where you have the best of the cobots out there with Doosan. You have the best of the tools out there with OnRobot. Mix it with Deploy, and you have a full solution that is very easy, very fast to set up, to run, and to redeploy as well. So you have all the benefits basically of a winning, world-leading solution. I'm always done with my presentation. I just want to say, if you want to know and understand a little bit more about Deploy or OnRobot for that matter, you can go to our website, www.onrobot.com. Part of the website, there's a link, it's called Learn OnRobot. It's kind of like a free training platform where there's short videos that tells you the step-by-step how to do a certain application with a certain robot and a certain end effector, and also how you can do that with Deploy. So it's very easy to go through. You can just basically sit and watch some videos and enjoy that and get a lot more information and understanding of how Deploy works. So that's it for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Niels, for the wonderful presentation. So we'll move to the next part of the webinar. So I do see there are some questions on the chat. I will allow it to end of my presentation. I'll probably take about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we will handle all the Q&A together. Good. So a quick presentation about MELSS and what we do. So MELSS, we are an engineering and technology solutions company based out of Chennai in India. We have our branch offices across the country, and we have about 165 people. We are 28 years old right now, and we cater to our customers all across India, and we also delivered several projects outside of India as well. So we broadly operate in 3 business verticals, 2 of them focusing on electronics and electronic related solutions, and of course on data acquisition simulators. Our area of focus for today's meeting would probably be more on the industrial automation that we provide as a turnkey system integrator, being able to work all the way from robotics to the electromechanical solutions and the IT/OT solutions that are required to connect your solution systems. This is our head office in Perungudi in Chennai. And we are an ISO certified company, both for quality management as well as information management systems. So talking about industrial automation, MELSS as a solution provider and as an integrator, we provide turnkey automation solutions that includes designing and delivering the complete line for a customer. So from when the problem statement is given to us, and we normally go and read up to the details of what is the output that needs to be generated off the line, how many parts per minute, or how many bags need to be palletized, how many boxes need to be maintained, or if it's a kind of a machine tending application, what is the cycle time, what are the accessories that are required to manage it. It could involve a lot of jigs, tools, fixtures, conveyors, or integration with other machines, like let's say your CNC machines, or it could be a bagging machine out of which the machines are coming, or it could be a packing machine. So MELSS is able to integrate all this together, including the mechanical parts. So it could be with conveying systems, it could be with motors and servo-based applications, and of course on the electrical side as well. Now, we also have a strong presence on the software systems, where we provide manufacturing execution solutions, integration to your production planning control system, and also for solutions for, let us say, mistake proofing or poka-yoke that you may want, including complete traceability. So right from your raw materials to your finished goods, any kind of traceability that may be required. And we provide OEE and real-time dashboards. Now, so MELSS, we are adept at providing solutions like, let's say, for assembly lines. So this could be conveyors or indexing tables. And then, of course, servo-based XYZ gantry systems, and a lot of applications these days where we utilize robots along the lines. So it's just not always jigs and fixtures. We work very actively with Doosan, being their partner in India, to provide solutions where the manual intervention can be avoided, and then we put them across the lines. And of course, as part of this, it is just not on an assembly or manufacturing side. Towards the inspection, again, we have a Doosan Cobot where we are able to do inspection applications, and then of course on the packing and palletizing, where the focus of the solution today is. And as part of this, there is also integration that we will be requiring to do. So our assembly lines and stations, as we see it, they are it need not be always only a conveyor-based solution. We could have an station where we are putting objects, and then these objects need to be worked upon. Let us say screw driving applications, torque driving applications that have to be done, press fits, or doing some sensing or identify doing vision-based inspection solutions. We are able to do that. Let me just run a quick 2-minute video to demonstrate our capabilities and the type of projects that we have done. So coming to robotic solutions, we work on a wide variety of solutions. These could be machine tending applications. These could be pick and place solutions. Sealing and gluing application, seal and dispensing and gluing are applications we see quite often these days that keep coming to us. Inspection, and when we talk about inspection, it could be a camera vision based inspection, or using different type of sensors or instrumentation for pressure checking, torque checking, or we may also have to do some gauging application. So we engage on that. Packing and palletizing. So it could be cartons, it could be bags, or it could even be assembly inside. And this is where it is quite interesting that the collaborations that we have with both Doosan and OnRobot help us quickly deploy such applications using the different type of end of arm tools that we have and a wide variety of uh, cobots that are available or different type of payloads and reach from Doosan. Now, the advantage also, like Niels was explaining earlier, it deploy has multiple functions. While we are focusing on the palletizing solution today, we've got solutioning for different type of grippers. So the standard functions available on deploy for machine tending, CNC machine tending, or pick and place as well. So these are solutions that we will be able to provide to customers. And of course, screw driving and nut runner applications, including the force sensing, because we will need to make sure that the cobot is able to handle this and we are able to provide. And service robot applications, some are the case study videos that Sunju had also shown during her presentation. This could be for more tending applications or a restaurant type of a solutioning, or at an airport, these kind of applications. Okay. Again, some photographs of the type of solutions. MELSS, while we work on cobots with Doosan, we also have the capability of working on traditional SCARA or industrial robots for more heavy duty applications, or where the payload is much more or a reach. So we are able to do. And in those cases, we take care of the complete safety, fencing, and any other safety that needs to be handled as part of the industrial robot implementation. We've also deployed several palletizing applications in the past. These could be for bag palletizing or box palletizing. And in this case, MELSS as an integrator, we are able to provide the complete conveyors as well as the pallet dispensers, routing of these pallets across. There may be cases where we don't want forklifts or other material handling equipment to move as part of the line. Rather, we will want to be able to quickly move these pallets as they go. In, let us say, a typical bagging application, you may have continuous bags that keep coming out and you cannot afford time to change pallets in them. In these cases also, we are able to create the complete conveyor networks to be able to move these pallets out and bring fresh empty pallets in. Again, when Niels was talking about the palletizing, one common application that comes up is to dispense slip sheets. And the 2VGP F20 gripper also has this model to be able to pick up slip sheets and then place them in between the layers as well. So this is something that we could do, and we have the expertise in handling different type of functions here. Of course, we partner with Doosan in delivering the complete solutions, right from the supply to the design of end effectors or using standard effectors and the other accessories that go on, along with the programming and the support. I'm going to skip this slide for requirement of time. Niels did present about OnRobot while the focus was on the palletizing. You can see that there are a wide variety of other grippers and end of arm tools that are available with OnRobot. These could be very useful for different type of applications, including, let us say, machine tending, or even they have soft grippers which are very helpful to pick and place objects that are of not regular shape and size, typically food applications. And there are also screwdrivers, electric screwdrivers that are available, and sanding applications as well for polishing or sanding applications. So, and again, what is very interesting about all OnRobot products is that you don't need an external air supply. So it makes it quite easy to deploy these solutions, and even on a moving platform, and you don't need compressed air supply. So even if there is a vacuum-based pickup, the air is generated internally, and so there is no vacuum is generated internally, and you don't need an external compressor to run this solution. Okay. I'm skipping this. Again, Niels has already covered this. Now, talking about end-of-line testing, MELSS also specializes in doing specialized end-of-line testing applications. These could be functional or endurance testing solutions to be working with and with high precision electromechanical jigs. So here we custom design solutions for this end-of-line testing, and in the more recent days, a lot of these solutions are being used with robotics. So that if you need to do sampling or every part that needs to be tested, we could design the testing solution, and the robot can be used to deploy such a function without any manual intervention. And we have a complete Industry 4.0 group that can deliver all type of MES tracking traceability solutions along with mistake proofing and digital walls. We've deployed several of them with many customers, including real-time data acquisitions from your machines, from your PLCs. We combine them with the real-time data that is available on the shop floor, and we do end-to-end traceability there. We also have our own product group handling IIoT solutions, where even let us say when you deploy a robotic solution and you would like to get real-time analytics out of that. Of course, these days the Cobot as well as the OnRobot package, the software package, gives us a lot of these interfaces, and we can pick up this information. But for legacy machines, we could go with IIoT solutions, and MELSS has some standard products for edge gateways and touch panel displays from which we can get data. And these could be for pure edge computing, for real-time monitoring control, or it could be for mistake proofing or a single piece flow applications. One of our other partners with whom we deliver solutions from our Industry 4.0 portfolio is Visual Components. Visual Components is a very good add-on in terms of using OnRobot and Deploy, as well as Doosan, because the entire line can be designed, and you could simulate it, you can evaluate how it is going to be. And Visual Components is a building block. It has a platform where more than 2,800 standard components are available, and you are able to drag and drop them to create your and visualize your line as a digital twin. In fact, all of Doosan Cobots products as well as OnRobot's end-of-arm tools are available as part of the library in Visual Components. So this makes it extremely easy for anybody who wants to visualize their line and be able to see how a particular line or a process can be set up. So as you can see, it's just a drag and drop, and a huge library of products are available for you to be able to drag and drop and all the robots, kinematics, designs, their payload reach are all pre-configured, and standard grippers from different models are available. So you can set it up, you can create your routes, how your products are going to move, how your robots are going to interface, and you will also be able to simulate and calculate cycle times and other activities as part of your imagining the entire shop floor. It's not only for setting up new shop floors or factory lines, even your existing lines, you could configure it, you could visualize it as a digital twin, and you could say how I can optimize to reduce the number of routes that you may have, number of times people have to walk, or improve the ergonomics as well. Okay. So with that, I'd like to end my presentation, and I'd like to summarize that with Doosan and with OnRobot, palletizing solutions are pretty easy for us to position, and we are able to easily configure them as well. And with given MELSS capability, we have all the demo units here, and we are able to easily integrate the entire line for you, be it whatever type of a functionality or some complexity that you may have. So I would now like to open the program for question and answers, and thank you very much. You could put it on the chat, or please raise your hand, and feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going across with the questions. So there's a question from Mr. Rajshekhar. Hi, is there any live demo on this deploy? Niels, would you like to take that?
Well, it depends what you mean by live demo. I would say, so what we can do, or what MELSS can do, we can do together, depending. We can do an online presentation where we can show you the software. We cannot give you access to the software yourself. The other part is that, depending on where you're located compared to MELSS, but MELSS actually have deployed themselves and can show it to you in real time, if you want to try it out, or you want to see how it works. So that's the other option, depending, as I say, on your availability and your location and so on. So that's these are the two options that are there currently.
So I think he says, I mean, how to integrate it is when it comes to integration, is it possible you can set up a basic application through live? Okay, maybe I think he's talking about a live demonstration online. I think that's the question. Yeah.
I mean, if you talk about OnRobot in Singapore, we have applications set up already at our office. So that's what I'm saying. We can go through the software and how it's running and how it's set up, and basically show you how it runs on the robot itself with the specific application. We have all 4 applications available. So that is one option. The better option, in my opinion, is if you talk to MELSS and let them basically come and show you how it's done, or you can go to their office maybe. But that's between you and them. You can talk to them about it. We are happy to help either way.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, Mr. Raghavan. So would you like to ask your question? I see you raising your hand.
Yeah, sure. How are you? I think
I'm good.
good presentation.
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Yeah, fine,
Thank you.
fine. Since you are associated with us in our traceability systems, you know the crux of our sizes in tires.
Yes. Yes.
So palletizing is a very big, it's an activity for us. So different size of tires being palletized by human force. So I need some inputs on how tires can be palletized. And is there anything where you are doing for any tire industry, or just we want to start with us? Let us have a startup. So you can brief them also, since you know the profile of our organization.
Sure.
And we can have one more session of discussing on how to take it forward.
All right. Sure, sir. Thank you. Yes, yeah, Niels, just to let you know, and I think Sanju is also here. So, Mr. Raghavan, their organization does off-highway tires. They're large tires that they manufacture, and we are a partner for them on more on their Industry 4.0 solutions. So we offer complete traceability for their products and solutions. Sir, again, answering your question, in terms of the size of tires that yeah, in terms of the tires that you handle, I think the standard cobots may not be able to handle the payload that we are talking about, but probably the smaller solid tires that you have are sub 25 kilograms. I think those are something that we can handle with collaborative robots. I think they about 20 kgs type of payloads we could use, and then we could use solutions for the palletizing. From the understanding that I have, we probably require larger industrial robots in your cases. Most of your tires are a couple of 100 kilograms, but it is then possible to palletize them using those type of larger handling systems. And of course, you already have conveyor lines that are bringing out those tires, so we should be able to pick it up from them. Yeah. I'll set up an offline call to work with you and your team, and then we'll see how to palletize them.
Yeah. So I think most of our people have not participated in this presentation. Would like to
Mhm.
have this presentation sent to me so that I can circulate to the team. We will also internally discuss and come back to you what is the requirement, and we can
Right.
segregate into categories: small, medium, and bigger size of tires. Based on that, we can move forward.
Okay, sir. Sure. That'll be nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Neil, and thank you, Shiv.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Deepak, do you have a question? Hello?
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, we can
Yeah.
hear you. Please go ahead.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
can hear you. Please
My
go ahead
name
with your question.
is Deepak Sawant. I am from yeah. I'm from electronic manufacturing business. My question to Neil is: we have industrial robot to assemble the printed circuit boards. So now, when it comes to testing of circuit, they keep on changing. Like PCB assemblies need to be tested. So there we may require to have customized setup for testing. I think MELSS system is also they provide testing solutions. So, but if suppose we want to automate that process, can we use these robots for functional testing of printed circuit boards?
Yeah. So yes, it's definitely possible to handle this. Okay, there are a few things that we can do from the robot itself. The handling of the printed circuit boards, we could use cobots like from Doosan, or if you already have your existing robots, we can use them. The grippers that are available on OnRobot can be used for picking up PCBs. And Niels, does we have a specific gripper for the Gecko gripper? Does it work on the PCBs,
Well,
or is it only for
depends.
glass?
Depends if they're empty or they're with items on it. But either way, I mean, if it's not an empty PCB, there's still ways of modifying fingertips and picking up PCBs. We have done that before, so I don't think that's an issue. It's just where and how you can pick them. That's really it.
Sure. And of course, I assume we could consider the testing solution as a machine tending application, right? So it's supposed to pick it up from a point, and then we put it onto a testing machine, pick it up from there, and again place it out. So if we could consider it that way, would deploy work on that solution?
Maybe, I would say maybe. Yeah.
My application won't be that simple. I've seen a robot, maybe universal robot, which picks up assemble board, and then it also brings the probes, testing probes, puts them on the testing points, and measures the signals, so that my all procedure of testing become automated. So it's an on-fly testing.
Okay. Yes, sir. I think once we look at the details.
Sorry to interrupt you. One of my
Yeah.
customers is already using this robot, so I have seen
Okay.
that demonstration. I want to see
Okay.
whether I can replicate same thing in India by having your robot and customizing it for that application.
Okay, right. So I think it probably requires a little more understanding of the application. I think what we'll do is after this meeting, we'll get in touch with you and we'll try and take it forward. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody has other questions? Yeah, well, I'll leave a minute for people to check if they have anything else. Just to let everyone know, we have demonstration equipment of the Doosan Cobots here in our office. We also have Deploy and one or two grippers with us. So we will be able to do an actual proof of concept for any of your applications in our office. If there are, it has to be put on a assembly or a pallet packing line, we will be able to bring it off to your facility as well and do some trials. So MELSS is open to doing that. And so please free to contact us if there's some such application. So that's the speciality of Deploy. We don't have to spend a lot of time in programming it. So we should be able to quickly come up with a solution and demonstrate it along with the Cobot and the Deploy solution. So this is something I'd like to open up to all our participants today. And if there's something that feel free to contact any of our team on this. Yeah. Would you like to add anything else, Niels or Sanju?
I think from my side, not really. We always here to support anybody who wants to do some POCs or testing or wants an online presentation of anything that you need help with. But the easiest thing is reach out to MELSS and they will reach out to us and we'll find a solution for whatever application you're working on.
Okay. And Sanju, how
I
about
think
you?
sorry, someone raised their hand.
No, it's the same. It's the same. I don't know. It's not disappeared as Deepak. It's already answered.
Okay.
Yeah. And Sanju, you have any other comments?
If somebody wants to do our robot, use our robot to demo. Some robots, I know some robots already have MELSS for demo robots, and our headquarters also support to the demo robot. So if any customers want to do demo, you can ask MELSS or our headquarters also.
Okay, great. Yep, thank you. So I don't see there are any other further questions. So yeah, I thank you all. Thanks all the participants. Okay, I think one person raised his hand. Mr. Ritish, yes, please go ahead.
Sorry to interpret. I have joined in the middle of the meeting only. So can you please explain me that in depth about the lifting palletizing? Elevate.
Okay, I think probably they're asking about the OnRobot lift to raise the Cobot itself. Is that the question, Mr. Ritish?
Yes.
Yes.
So you're talking about the 7-axis lift?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, right. I mean, is there anything specific you want? I mean, so basically, we call it a lift 100. So 100 refers to the maximum payload. So 100 kilo payload, which contains the robot, the gripper, and whatever item you're lifting. It goes up to 900 millimeters. What I can tell you is it's made after industrial standards. So you have some lifts out there that are, let's say, Cobot lifts, which are basically made of plastic inside. And I know this because we bought one and took it aside, took it apart. So ours is industrial. It will last. It is fast. It's not going to stop. So yes, you will pay a little bit more, but you will not have headache down the line. That's much I can say. And another important thing also is that sometimes when lifts they go up to full height and maybe fast speed, whether it's palletizing or otherwise, sometimes you'll see a lot of deflection, which is dangerous, and also it can affect how you place and pick up the boxes. Ours does not do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can have different robots. We have a large range of robots that fits the lift. We also have what we call pallet station. So basically the pallet station is a sensor. So once the pallet is moved in and triggers the sensor, it will send a signal to the robot that you can continue palletizing. And once, so that's basically how the pallet station works, and make sure the pallet is at the same space every time, which of course is important. So you don't have, the boxes suddenly go on a different location on the pallet. So that's a full solution. It works with different robots, Cobots and industrial robots as well. So yeah, quite flexible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, Mr. Ritesh, I think some, again, like Neil said, on the OnRobot website, there's a lot of information available about this lift and how it works. There are also videos available on YouTube on how this product works. So I think these are something that you can take a look. But if there's more interest, I think we'll be happy to connect with you and understand the application, propose the same.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. If there are no further questions, I think we will come to the end of the webinar. I thank all participants for their time today. I hope the webinar was useful and you were able to understand how we could use Doosan and OnRobot Deploy to be able to deploy easy solutions for your palletizing or other collaborative application needs. I thank Niels and Sanju as well for their time. Thank you very much, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you all.
Pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
team.
you.